Head of the CLICO Policyholders Group, Peter Permell, says he's disappointed in the Minister of Finance for calling him names at the post-cabinet session on Thursday. Colm Imbert yesterday gave an in-depth explanation of government's position on CL Financial, saying that mouthpieces were spreading information on the matter which was not correct. Mr. Permell was not pleased with being labelled as a person who has no right to speak out on matters of interest. Marie-Therese Bernard has more.
Peter Permell says a democracy allows people with concerns to raise issues of importance to them, to represent people and to be heard without being disparaged. He questions the intent of the Minister of Finance, who, Mr. Permell says, did just that at Thursday's post-cabinet briefing.
It was indeed rather unfortunate and regrettable, and a sad day for Trinidad and Tobago when a finance minister, a senior cabinet member and a representative of the government has to resort to name calling to try to make his point, particularly by referring to ordinary citizens like myself who raised legitimate concerns on behalf of interest groups they represent as mouthpieces. I find it derogatory and demeaning in the extreme, and moreover unbecoming of any honorable Minister of Finance.
He says he has never called himself a shareholder in CLICO, but Mr. Permell says his name is still on his policy with the company, notwithstanding it being under the government's care.
With respect to Mr. Imbert's claim that I cashed in my policy in 2012, clearly the minister was either misinformed or he does not understand the meaning of the term cash in a policy in an insurance context, since by definition, a policyholder who cashes in his or her policy is paid whatever contractual benefits are due to him or her at the particular point in time, and the policy is immediately cancelled.
He explains that it is his policy and those of the other executive annuity holders which give government the right to seek redress for the billions they have put into the company's bailout.
In this particular situation, I, along with thousands of other policyholders of executive flexible premium annuities, accepted the government's offer of $75,000 in cash and zero coupon bonds or zero interest bonds in a take it or leave it scenario, because in order to accept the offer, we had to execute a deed of assignment and declaration of trust document, which means that our policies were assigned to the government, who is currently standing in the shoes of the policyholders in order to get back the billions of dollars owed to it. In other words, there's a policy with my name along with the other policyholders on it. Clearly, there's no policy with the government's name on it.
Mr. Permell says he thinks the minister's slurs were meant to silence him and other stakeholder representatives. He argues, however, that this is a democracy and attempts to hush voices with reasonable questions and commentary are unacceptable, especially from a high government official. Marie-Therese Bernard, C News.
But the Ministry of Finance says CLICO does not owe any monies to Peter Permell, chairman of the CLICO Policyholders Group. The Ministry of Finance, in a media release, said their records indicate that on May 22, 2012, Mr. Permell accepted the former government's offer for purchase of his CLICO policies by virtue of deeds of assignment and declarations of trust in respect of two executive flexible premium annuities. He received the sum of $75,000 in cash for each policy, with the rest being paid in bonds. Additionally, in May 2012, in full and a final settlement, Mr. Permell also relinquished all claims to these policies and signed a clear waiver of all future claims against CLICO. The ministry said it has been advised as a result, Mr. Permell no longer has any contractual relationship with CLICO, and there is no balance of money due to him from CLICO whatsoever. One former central bank governor says government made the right decision to intervene into the CL Financial matter. Dr. Uric Bob, speaking on CTV's Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago program, said it's not unusual for governments to intervene in failing financial institutions.
There was very high risk of contagion in the financial system, of systemic failure. And when a regulator, the central bank or the government, confronts systemic failure, then you have to intervene. And I think it was the right decision. If you look back over experience across many countries at the same time, in the United States, the government intervened through its TAP program. It held majority shareholding in some well-known companies. So this was nothing unusual, and I think it was the right call.